Alright guys, so just a quick video from me, an update. I've been slightly away from everything recently, and I thought I'd just shoot a video to give some advice and reflections on, suffering immense loss. In just over 3 weeks, I've lost both my friend and my business partner to suicide, losing his battle to mental health, and then I lost my dad more recently to an aggressive form of pneumonia, which just resisted all antibiotics, can't say that word, and it's been really tough. As you can imagine, I'm grieving twice over. I'm also managing two companies. I've got a company here in Cyprus, I've got a company back in the UK, which I've now had to step back into to try and rescue and to try and navigate a very intense set of legal procedures that go with that, or with both of those things, from dealing with the death of a business partner, and also the legal procedures that go with probate, and of course looking out for my family's welfare as well. I've had to be there for my mum, like hold her when she breaks down, because it's never nice, but when it's kind of unexpected, it's even worse. So those things have been occupying me. We've got our immigration appointment, which happens annually. I've already pushed it back from late November to early December. I've got a solicitor helping me with that, which makes it a lot easier. And I've got him working on my mum's as well, which is going to take a lot of stress from her. But needless to say, it's still kind of, you're in a moment of judgment. When you do this, you have to give lots of documentation, and you are effectively being scored and judged on your suitability to be here in Cyprus. So it's just stressful more than anything else. And throughout all of this, I'm trying to stay calm, trying to stay sane. I think that's a bit dramatic because I feel okay, but trying to remain calm and to realize that I'm effectively like a dam right now. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm here and I've got a lot of stuff pushing against me, and I've got to let a little bit out at a time, rather than allowing the wall to crumble. So it's been really rough, as you can imagine. It's a lot, and I thought I'd share some things about kind of how I'm coping at the moment. How am I actually processing this? I consider myself a very resilient person anyway, but this is a massive test. It's been a real test for me. So there's things that I've learned and things that I am learning along the way, and I thought I'd just share those just for anyone else that might be going through a stressful period, might have a lot on their shoulders. It's not a very nice place to be in this world at the moment. There's lots of underlying issues and things that are kind of causing problems for people. So if that's anyone out there, maybe these things will help. So number one is just letting it out. The first few days of each of these events, when I heard about Lewis, I was on holiday in Italy. When I heard about my dad, I was at home. I just got about my day normally. Got a call from the doctor, and as doctors or surgeons are, it's very very to the point and matter of fact, which is how he needed to be. But for me, it was just like a punch, and I was completely blown away by the news. And then of course I had to tell that then to my family, and that was really tough. So I often tell a story about how one point in business I buried my head in code. So I'd gone through like a few issues in the business, nothing compared to this, but I lost two really good people, two really good clients, and all of a sudden I was thrown back in to my business after being quite in a position of comfort. And when I went into those pilot codes, I just let it all out. It was very quick, and it was so cathartic because afterwards I just felt like I expelled this energy. And I'm lucky enough where I haven't had that much struggle in life, but one thing I would say is, when you are under stress, when you are going through really tough things in your life, let it out, like expel that bad energy. And whatever way that is for you, go underwater and just scream into the water, bury your head into a pile of coats, go like climb into on top of a mountain or something, like go full caveman. Just do whatever you need to do. Just get the energy out of you, because if you bottle that up, and I've had a few friends of mine who have gone through some struggles, and they've all said, don't let it sit inside you. And I think that's really good energy. That's really good, and I think that's really good advice to anyone. Let it out. That's number one. Number two is focusing my actions. This has been a time when I've had to really dive into my own prioritization, because this has been a real test. Like, I felt totally out of control at times, and that's normal. Of course, like when you go back to what I'm going through and you think about what you might be going through, it's easy to fall out of control or to feel like you're out of control at times. One thing I would say is, over the years, I've learned to make sure that I don't stare too much into the future. I've got things to do, I've got things to remember, I've got things to plan for, for myself, for my family, for others. But I can't do all of this at once, so I don't try to. I heard a quote once, and it says, when staring at the summit scares you, look down at your boots. And that's really, really great advice, because the top of the mountain is always scary. How do you get there? How are you ever going to reach the top? And looking down at your boots just focuses you on what's around and what's in your immediate kind of vicinity. And ultimately, the metaphor here is what's the very next step that you need to take right now. And when you understand the next step, you just take it. So that's what I've been doing is, I can't focus on everything at once. And so trying to worry about that is pointless, and trying to plan the next steps everywhere is kind of outside of what I need to be doing. So I just focus on the next step. What do I need to do today? What are my priorities? And I get those done. That leads on to number three, which is, focusing on only the things that I can control. So I've read lots about stoicism. I'm very I'm a big fan of stoicism, and have been over the years. Ever since Ryan Holiday's first book came out, The Obstacle is the Way, it really sort of hit me, because I was like, yeah, actually, I think a bit like that. And it's been a real help, both stoicism and Taoism, and focusing on these like old ancient ways and philosophies has been really comforting. And one of the biggest things from that has been controlling like the fears and doubts that I have, by asking a question, which is this next action within my control? And if it's in my control, then I should take that action. So going back to number two, which was to, just take the next step. If it's in my control, then I take the next action. And if it's not, then I just park it to one side until I'm back in control of the next action. So to give you an example, we can't do anything more on my dad's side until we have a death certificate. We just can't do anything. So you need that document in order to plan for some of the things that we need to do as part of the process. So the next action is not within my control, because until that's done and we get that back, there's nothing I can do. So for now, I've parked that to one side. There's not much point in me thinking about the next step, because I can't take it. It's not within my sphere of control. So that was number three, is focus only on what you can control. Number four is to offload my thoughts. So this has been something I've done for a while, but more recently it's been like I've really sort of understood the true value of it. And as you might expect, my sleep quality has been utter shit. It's been really bad recently. I've been getting up for whatever reason, kind of 12:30, like half past midnight. I've got up at 4:30, almost every day for a long time. And, I've gone through these things where it's like almost become a bit habitual. So I'm an early riser anyway. 4:30 is, early, but it's not like a killer for me. However, I don't want to get up at 4:30. And so one of the things that has helped me is control kind of the endless thoughts, the to-dos, the worries, the self-talk, around sort of remaining positive or all those things that go through, that come with worry and stress and events like this in your life. I've started to really lean into kind of journaling, and journaling is different for everyone. There's no right way. And I used to think, I don't want to do that. Like, it's just, dear diary, write this and this, that, and that, and the other. I'm not that kind of person. So for me, my system is to record everything into a voice note. I use software called Letterly. It's on my phone. I literally record something and I just get it out. I go through what's on my mind. What do I need to get done? What do I need to remember? How am I feeling? What am I thinking? I just record everything, and then I have an automation that makes sense of all of that before emailing it to me in an organized summary. So the comfort of having that everything captured in this way just reduces the internal noise. I know that I've got that email. Check that I get the email because I don't want to forget it. So I go through the process very quickly. It then sends me an email. I can see the email come through. I don't read it. I wait for the next morning to pick it up when I've got fresh energy. But just offloading that from my mind is, something that I've really valued. And what I would say is, if you are someone with lots on your mind at the moment, just do that. Just if out of all of these, one of the things that you can do is just make sure that you empty your mind. Your mind is like a processor, right? So if you've got things processing all the time, that's when things like burnout starts to become a reality, because your system, your engine just can't operate at those revs for that long, right? It's really important just to try to take everything and try to park it to one side and deal with it when you have energy, right? So managing energy. This is about managing energy. And so number 5, which is the last point, is just remaining optimistic, right? So I know that things don't last forever, and my wife says this always to me when I'm stressed. She says, this doesn't last forever, and she's right. How we feel today isn't going to be the same 6 months from now or a year. It's a moment in time, and what's happening now isn't permanent, and I have to remind myself of that all the time. This is part of the processing, is that I know this is not a fixed window, but if I take the whole span of like my life and what's coming up and all the things that I have to look forward to, this is just a moment in time, and I have to just get through it. So I combine points 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I believe in 5. And I know that for as long as it takes, I know that I'm going to come out stronger the other side as a result of it. So, I always used to joke moan to my wife that, LinkedIn and Instagram and all these places are just full of twice broke, used to be homeless, kind of wild success stories from the very bottom up. And that, I didn't have my own story of struggle. And, mine's happening right now. It's in real time. I'm going through it. And I thought this video would just kind of show how I'm coping and show how I'm processing it. And maybe that's a help to some people. Maybe it's a comfort to others. Just take, 1 or 2 things away from it. I feel good. I feel like I'm in control. These are the points as to why I feel that way. And, I don't know what's coming next week or the week after or whatever, but I just know that if I keep staring at my boots and I just focus on what I can get done and prioritize properly and make sure I manage my energy, don't let it consume me, then in time, things will start to conclude and they will start to wash away, and I will have clear skies. The clouds will kind of move and I'll have clear skies in front of me again. And so lastly, thank you for all the support. I know a few of you know what I'm going through, and it's been a huge comfort to know that I'm surrounded by just absolute legends and lots of offers of help and conversation and support. And that's also really important in times like this. So thank you, and I will keep you posted. Hopefully, I'm useless at kind of documentation, but I am trying to get a bit better at it and I'd like to try and sort of document a few more parts of my journey. And if they help, cool. I hope they do. I really appreciate the messages. Take this time to, put your arm around someone and yeah, just keep going. Just take these 5 points if this is for you. And wish you all the best. Cheers.